All right. Thank you very much for joining us. It is Saturday night, and this is how we spend our Saturdays. So today is March. I don't even know, but it's a Saturday.
March.
Anyway, so
I guess
this is be session
we
8
don't
or
know.
9.
I don't know. Just
So
no.
it's more fun to have numbers, and even if they don't like correspond with anything, it's just as like a episode 4 star date log
No.
2020. You know, it just adds to the story being more full.
Okay.
If they could have somebody add time and date and location, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, so here we are.
Here we are.
I was on the crapper, sat down, and then it hit me. We don't reflect enough as a people.
I don't think we have time to reflect.
Right. But I was sitting there and I was thinking, man, I really wish I had my phone. But then I was like, start thinking about like, why would I? It's been a while since I had not gone to the bathroom without my phone.
So you were in there that whole time without your phone?
No.
I thought you were playing games or something.
No.
That was a long time.
It was a long time. But I really thought about this.
Uh-huh.
Well, I went from different angles.
Yeah.
And it just dawned on me. It's like the time on the shitter is like reflection time.
Yeah.
People say, oh, I'm bored. But what do you do when you're bored? You think.
Mm-hmm.
And when you think, you often reflect.
Yeah.
And people don't account for their actions these days because they don't have time for reflection.
That makes sense. That really does. I
So-
see that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people out there that are constantly on a go, and they're more potentially that they need that time to reflect. And without that reflection, then they have how life is going today with a lot of people, because they're not actually accounting for their own actions anymore. They're not thinking about what they did. Because like if I walked into Safeway and a guy just said, hey Arlo, remember that time in 3rd grade? What? And I'm like, what? Shut up, you deserved it. What? You know.
Seen it play out in my head.
And then I leave. That's time for reflection. See. But you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So nobody's thinking anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's too many distractions. There's like our boy over there watching his iPad, our daughter back there watching her iPad.
Yeah.
There's a TV on, nobody's watching it. Right behind you.
Should I go turn it off real quick?
Yeah, go turn it off real quick. But yeah, there's like really no time because we're constantly going. I mean, in this, I guess the work that we've been doing really kind of created that with us where we're nonstop go. Don't you think?
I agree.
Yeah.
It's definitely, there isn't people thinking anymore. Even if it's just about little things too. They're not putting enough attention into it. I mean, you talk about Azure and Lou here right now, and it's literally a kind of a hypocrite statement, you know?
Yeah.
But I mean, the rule was they haven't had their iPads all day. People don't know that. As we're talking, that they weren't on their iPads all day. This is their only time. So I'm not trying to defend us. What I'm trying to state is that when you're telling a story and then people don't understand the context.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounded like you were defending us.
No, I mean.
It did. It was like, you know, right away you have to justify why they're on their iPads right now. I mean, you don't have to defend us, but that's what it sounded like.
I know.
Yeah. So, but I mean, that's just what it is. It's just everything's right here, right now, and constant. All the time.
All the time. That's all it is. It's just everybody's constantly
And
going,
then what about the light, the brightness? How does that affect your brain when it's 24 hours? Because you're like, going to lay down and go to bed,
Uh-huh.
and you have this bright phone in front of your face.
Wow.
So there's more light right there.
Right.
How does that
That's true
affect
too.
that? Yeah,
I see
because
what
it's
you're
like
saying.
constant light.
Yeah.
So, yeah, because we're always watching movies or texting or looking at Facebook, before
Yeah.
we go to sleep. So, I mean,
Whenever we do our star pictures and stuff like that, I'd be doing research about the darkest places in the world, and we're like ranked number 6, which is kind of, if we're ranked number 6 in the world, I feel kind of bad. I think it was ranked number 6 in metropolitan areas or something like that. I mean, on one end that's good, but that's bad for the environment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bad for people.
Bad for people.
Yeah.
Where's the darkest place?
In America? In America.
Is that what the poll was, or that?
Yeah, in America.
Oh, okay.
No, it was the world, but this
world.
was the in populated areas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But where was the darkest place?
The darkest place is in over Antarctica. I mean, can't get no darker. Opposite side of the sun.
Yeah.
No moon. You get real dark down there.
Real dark.
Yeah.
Huh.
Especially when you're on the winter axis or summer axis, whatever, when it's tilted away.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't no darker.
Yeah, that's a lot to think about, though. Is that what you were thinking about while you were on there?
I was killing
Did you
it on
just
my,
go way back?
I went like way deep. I mean, how many of our kids, not our kids in particular, but how many kids in the world do that? They go to the porcelain throne with a mobile device.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're just copying us guys, and when it gets to that point, you've lost some very precious reflection time.
Yeah, because I mean, they'll be in there forever, but it's just because they're on an iPad.
Right. Yeah, it's crazy. I hate to think of that movie WALL-E.
So how do you think all of this is like changing our brain? Because do you feel like it is changing our DNA?
Definitely, yeah.
And I mean, from like this point forward, the children that are born, I guess after these guys, so after their children, how would that have this, being constant, go. How does that affect them? Because it's like they're going to be one step further than what these guys were.
Right.
Because they're going to be already there, because it's affecting our DNA now. So they're going to, evolve into this being that is like right there, but is going to take it further.
Right.
So,
I mean, who knows what that next offspring will be?
Yeah.
I think it's kind of exciting.
You think so?
Just to think about it. I think it's way too easy to look at stuff like that and just be kind of negative or whatever.
Yeah. But
to like reach out and actually think about like what our grandchildren will be more like. I mean, when you think about it, artificial light coming into for all we know, the reason why our eyes deteriorated was because of artificial light coming into the equation. We're having lights on at night.
I know Sissy was asking because she likes her cat clippers, but she was asking if our eyes ever glowed like the cat's.
Right.
And I was like, wow, that's a great question. I mean, and what she's referring to is, the reflectors or whatever.
Oh, yeah,
in
the
eyes.
gloss.
Yeah, so that they could
see at night.
Yeah,
what happens is that little black thing inside your eye just expands all the way open. That's so they can see at night. So has that ever happened? I mean, yeah, I imagine, because think about it, that little black thing that's in the middle of our eye, that can get big as a animal. I mean, the only thing that really separated us.
I have to see that.
On a human?
Yeah.
I bet that looks I guarantee it. There's somebody out there already that has those kind of eyes.
I have to see that.
Naturally see those kind of eyes. Pull it up. See if you can find something on that.
Okay.
Find out what they can.
I'm curious.
Yeah, pupil, enlarged pupils. Type in enlarged pupils.
I was gonna put animal-like pupils on a human.
Yeah, you could do that too.
Okay.
Call it. And no, it wouldn't be animal, or is it animal? Animal-like pupils.
Cats.
Cats.
Would it be feline?
I don't know. I don't want to be cats.
Yeah,
It's too...
just specific. Okay. Let me see.
I think what I want to know is like, are they like functional? If it's functional, does that mean you can see at night better? And what does that look like? I mean, you can't even explain to me your type of vision. Everybody just assumes that everybody's vision is like the same. For all you know, I have like some cool predator vision, you know?
Night vision.
Yeah. Because, I mean, I like my eyesight.
Yeah.
And I can see very clear in a lot of places. And
we were talking about that because I was thinking, holy, if my vision was, I mean, if I was born a long time ago and I had the vision I have now, I would be dead already.
Yeah.
You know, because I am blind.
By natural selection.
I am blind.
Yeah.
Man. But, I mean, that goes all the way back to things influencing my parents' DNA or my grandparents' DNA. You know, how did that affect me?
Do you think that you would,
well,
if you went back and then you found out that like, so like every person has like a feature, especially in a family, they have a feature that's passed down, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, and what if you found out like a feature in your family was like because they have really big ears?
I know on my dad's side of the family, it's our posse.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I think we all kind of share the same posse.
Yeah. I don't know. Like noses are something hard. Like you have a pretty standard nose. There's nothing like, yeah, you say it's big. I mean, it's not like weird big or
Why
anything
are you
like
staring
that.
at it?
I'm like, my eyes are going back and forth. No, but I just think about like with when it comes to different traits, I think that there are people out there that might have like awesome night vision. Mm-hmm. Remember that night whenever my cousin Terry showed us her night vision thing?
Oh yeah.
Did you? I could not believe it.
I know.
I thought it was like, you know.
Yeah. Right. Because I mean, you always like see things like that in the movies and stuff, and when you actually look through it,
yeah,
holy crap,
it felt weird.
It's like, no way.
Like this is real.
Tripping out.
I know, that's how it felt.
Yeah.
I think that if I think I would have way too much fun with it if I owned a pair of those. Mm-hmm. Probably break them right away too.
So you're thinking that our vision would not be like that, but we would be able to see clear at night.
Yeah. Because your eyes acclimate at nighttime. Yeah,
they do. But I was thinking about like our vision's bad. You know, we have bad vision. Myself and I don't think little Louie, but Leroy, we both have bad vision. And I think about animals. Are there animals born with really fucked up vision too? Or is it just humans? You know, what's the deal? I have questions.
Yeah, I do too.
Because, I mean, I'm wondering if this is even natural to have bad vision.
What if that's the evolution part?
Yeah, see, that's what I was thinking.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like changing the DNA, you know, like my great-grandparents, whatever they did at that time, or the trauma that they went through, you know, and then it just kind of went down the line. And here I am, you know, having to wear contacts because I can't see.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think that it's probably like the evolution thing. I don't know. But I think a lot of times that having bad vision is an abnormality.
Mm.
Like, it was probably common to have better vision, or like your type of vision, because it was a necessity for us.
Yeah.
During that time when we weren't confined to reservations and stuff like that.
It's interesting because when I think about like all my grandpas, on my mom and my dad's side, on my grandma and grandpas, whenever I think about them, I just realize like the one person that was never exposed to any of that stuff was like literally living in a hut on the ground when I was born, it was my grandpa. But my grandma wasn't like that. She had like she went to school and all that stuff, but he stayed out in the sticks. Like his only light at night was fire. He never, electricity was one of those things that he never trusted. He never liked it. Like even whenever he would play cards at night, he would light a little a little kerosene lamp. Yeah, so that makes me think that maybe that light thing has a little bit of, because he was never exposed to any of that.
Yeah.
But, he was also like one of those guys that like had it down way before we did, and like fat is good, stuff like that.
Well, I think about that too, like the diet long time ago, how it played a role in, how we functioned as humans. And if we became vitamin deficient because we were placed on reservations, then, I'm pretty sure that affected us, physiologically.
Yeah.
Well, mentally probably too.
Yeah.
But, I think about that. And I think that, there's probably a variety of contributing factors to why we are the way we are now, And I just wonder. I really wonder. I have so many questions.
I'm that girl that has questions. Why do we gotta die?
I think about this all the time, though. Like when I'm with the pups, or like when I'm just by myself. I always think, dang, man, I'm kind of getting a late start at all of this, And I just think, geez, if I was allowed to be able to think.
Yeah.
When I was a lot younger, I probably would be a little further than where I am mentally. I think about that.
I understand how, like, for you personally, that was kind of like a letdown. But I gotta be honest, it's almost like for me. I'm not just to say my upbringing is different. Like, so whenever I think about it, it's like, wow, that's like one of the purest moments, and you get to experience it now as an adult.
That's interesting.
Because I don't even remember stuff like that. Like that just thinking of something that was like a natural thing. See, I can't even figure out how to think about it. Because you're going through it, and it's just like, wow, something so simple that's the way it's supposed to be, you're like valuing it. And you're able to connect with it, and that's like literally the purest thing. And that the fact that you get to like work through it right now as an adult, that's really, really a blessing, even though it was the shittiest way to get there.
That's interesting.
Because you're actually engaging in some of the feelings that are considered sacred. And then you're actually able to, you have time now. You're in a safe place, and you have the ability to even use your children as that follow through, that walk along.
That's true. Yeah, because I think about them, and I remember myself when I was younger. Yeah. And how we weren't really exposed to a lot of the culture, the ceremonies, things like that. I think about that, and
Kiwi Radio.
Keely Radio. I think about that, and then I'm like, I don't want my babies to go through that, because I know what it's like to grow up not knowing.
I can't even, like, the way I recall how that all worked, ceremony and all that. I remember going to sweats where it was just a sweat. It's just about prayer. There wasn't about prediction. There wasn't about making anybody feel better. It was about reflection. That's all it was. And like, if you guys got into sweat today, like Andrew, Lou, and you, are like, I want to be a part of this. Like, somehow, I don't know how you would come to that conclusion. You're like, all three of you in the living room shaking hands. Let's do this. No, but like, if you went into sweats today, it's lost its meaning. Unipi has lost its meaning today. Easy. That is not. So, people could argue with me, but then we all come to the same conclusion.
I feel like that would be a hard pill to swallow. I mean, with a lot of people hearing that it's changed, it's not the same, right? Because I feel like a lot of people use that.
Oh, I guarantee it. There's
as they're finding myself, kind of thing or whatever. Yeah,
but my first memory of going into a sweat, Inipi, I don't remember it. I know I have memories of when me and Phil did it with Dad. I have those memories, but I don't remember if one of them is my first time. But I do know that I wish I could remember how it felt going in today. I know that moment right there would be considered special for me. As an adult, that moment would be very important to me. Yes, and that goes for all of like ceremony and things like that. It's not the same. You I don't think you would get what you would need out of it, or what. I shouldn't say any of this. I'm just all presuming shit. We gotta go way out, but like, but I mean, your my perception of how it was done. Maybe that way was gone and out the window, and there was a cooler, better way before my time.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that as ceremonies began to re-evolve into communities, I felt like I was kind of on the wave of those very first ones. And I feel kind of sad about it, like, because you know how I feel about all that, or how I say I think I feel about all of that. Yeah, it's not the same. But like, if I go to a sweat with Dad, like Phil, Uncle Ted, Uncle Jim, Auntie Alberta, if I go into a sweat with them, I know exactly what like I'm gonna get, and it's literally a taste of like what it was like a long time ago
when you first did it.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
Especially whenever Auntie Alberta or Dad pour the water, because only at that moment is when you begin to realize that they don't have spirits talking to them or whatever, that there's just a human in front of you talking to you about the trials and tribulations of life. And what better person to give you that interpretation than somebody who's doesn't hold themselves above any others? Wouldn't you want that to be your preacher man? Not the glammed up, whatever, Dallas, Texas pastors sitting in $6.5 million mansions.
Driving yep.
I think that I mean, wouldn't you want your leader, your person that you follow, live that way?
Yeah, I mean, I think about when I used to work with a domestic violence shelter down in Arizona, and what they would do was they would, advocate for victims, but somebody told me at that time that dressing up really flashy made them more uncomfortable, because they're already in this situation where they're not in a good place. But then you come at them all high-heeled up and, just really sharp-looking. It makes them uncomfortable, you know. So they were like, just like you would, just casual and jeans and shirt or whatever, so that they can feel like they can relate, or they can let down the guard and be able to talk to you because they feel like they would know my situation, like that. So I guess it's best to...
There's reason for a facade. Right?
There's a reason for a facade?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because you're not... I mean, if you were like a person that dresses very nice, that would be weird for you, right?
That would be really weird for me.
But since you don't dress up that way, it wasn't that big of a change for you.
Yeah.
But you see the reason why people put up the facade, because it's to bring in new members or whatever,
Yeah.
Or to make people feel comfortable in your pod.
I don't know. I don't know about that.
I mean,
I have to think about that. I don't know. I have to think about what you just said. Because that doesn't make any sense to me. Like, you're talking about putting up a facade. And I was thinking about, whenever you dress more comfortably and somebody isn't like, oh, this isn't an authority figure, or this isn't somebody who's above me, and, tense up and then try to say all the right things. But if you sit across somebody that's in t-shirts, blue jeans, kick back, posture, whatever, just chatting with you, you're not going to feel that tense.
No.
You're going to feel, like, oh, I can relax because this person's like me, like that. Mm. So this whole putting up a facade, I was trying to figure out where you were going with that. All I was talking about was, you're talking about, having a preacher man, this high, whatever, like the high-end preacher man that flies in jets and dresses all nice and stuff like that. He put himself above people.
Yeah. Because
of the way he is. He's not like you.
Yeah.
He goes home to a mansion. Like that. So automatically, even though he's saying, I'm doing this for you because I love you, you're not on the same level as him.
No.
So when it comes to like your spiritual leader, spiritual advisor, whatever you want to call him, those like flashy, outclassing people kind of ones or whatever.
Well,
I wouldn't feel comfortable with that.
Let me ask you this, then. How would you feel about, like, say you have somebody you look up to that you consider to be a leader? How would you want them to live? Would you want them to live better than you? Less than you?
I guess as long as they're doing all right, I'm okay with that. I don't even, as long as they're doing okay, that's fine.
Well, what I'm trying to say is, like, your compassion for this person, should they have more anonymous?
I don't think so.
So like, all right, here's just an example. All right. So like, we'll say...
When you said amenities, I thought of the little shampoos. That's why I laughed, because that's what I thought of right away at the freaking hotel. I seen little bottles of shampoo.
Should I say condiments?
I seen Taco Bell. Anyway, go ahead.
I forgot what I was going to say. Anyway, yeah.
I feel like they need more amenities?
Oh, yeah,
is what you said?
Yeah, do they? I forget what my example was. I had a great one.
Okay, so somewhere along the line of me wanting my like leader to live better than me.
Yeah. Do you want that person to live better than you?
Probably, maybe not. I don't know.
You don't know? It's hard to think of it, huh?
Yeah, I guess.
Well,
I mean, if it's your leader, if it's your leader, of course you want them to be safe and be comfortable.
Here we go. Full circle.
So, but not glamorous, not like that. Just you want them breathing somewhere warm when it's cold, like that.
If it's cold, then you give him your blanket.
I guess. I mean, if he needs it more than I do, come on. So
his teepee skin's got to be a little thicker.
That's not my problem. This made me really think about the past week. I've been really reflecting.
Mm-hmm.
And a part of my thoughts whenever I was reflecting was, is it possible for us to find true female thought? Would it be possible for us to do that? Something that isn't influenced by a male. Right. Like, how do the women see life? How do women see ceremonies? Coming from a woman perspective, not a man's.
Right.
So, is it possible?
Here's what I want to know, too, is like how much of a woman influence is affected by other, all right, so like at the core of manhood, I don't know what the hell the core of manhood is. It's diluted across, a whole spectrum of guys I consider great guys, but then I also know their faults. So where does how much of female thought is diluted because it's been a man's world, for example?
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. It's like because the men were revered because of the Europeans. The men were revered because they made decisions, they called the shots, so on and so forth. So women were pushed back further and further. But I wonder, in this day and age, is there true female thought?
That's amazing.
Perspective that isn't influenced by a male, especially like a spiritual leader, advisor, whatever. Is her thoughts like a female thought, or is it coming from a man? This is how females should be. I'll tell you. But they're males.
Holy crap! I can't even. This is how deep that is. Even though I know what you're saying, I cannot comprehend it.
But I wonder about that. I wonder about that a lot, because I think, like my great-great-great-grandma, when they did things as a woman, when she did what she did as a woman, lived her life, as a female, was it more pure? Her life living as a female more pure because she only knew, female ways through female teachings from a female.
Yeah.
I know there's going to be male influence here and there, but was she living the purest female life, because there wasn't so much male influence.
Yeah.
I just get curious about that stuff. Makes me wonder.
Well, I think about the Chinese. I've always heard this. I don't know if it's true. I'm just freaking remembering something I heard from somebody that was really smart that he said. The symbol for conflict in the Chinese language, when you write it down, there's two women under one house.
Wow.
Yeah. So
that is so true.
I mean, well, the thing is that so at the core of female thought, is that true? Is that statement true? I don't think so. I think at the core of female thought, I don't think.
Well, now it's true. Today it's true.
Whoa, okay.
Yeah. But back then, I mean, how did they come up with that symbol?
Yeah. But that was the symbol for conflict, is two women under one house.
And did the Mills come up with the alphabets or whatever they call it?
Right. That's exactly what my thought. I imagine how accurate is that? Because I think at the core of like I always think about women are so passionate if they want to be.
Yeah.
Whatever strikes their fancy, whatever gets them to go, they are like way more passionate than a man ever could be. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I think women's like in the like, just from my experience with like women leading my being my bosses.
Yeah.
I noticed that women are a lot more like spread out versus a man where he's like totally objected. You know, because like a woman, her leadership will like cover all the bases. But it's so spread out. Because it's so spread out, it doesn't have very much direction. You know what I mean? It's almost because like in my head, like for example, like when I used to work at like the Boys and Girls Club or like even Big Bats, I noticed because my bosses were both female.
Yeah.
I noticed that whenever an event came up or something important was going on, like they had like all the bases covered. But they were more about controlling that space than they were like making a focus on anything. Because whenever I was ever in charge or working with a guy who was my boss, that person was always like this. We have objective today. Everything that's going to come in to the play is going to come in like this. That's how a guy thought.
I never really stopped to think about that because I had both male and female supervisors.
Yeah, because if you think about your female supervisors, you realize that they're all kind of just that way. That nobody really liked them either. Because they were always, to them it's probably like nitpicking. I feel like that all the time whenever people like this. Like when I hear that, I feel like that person's nitpicking because they're like...
That's interesting.
So you think about like all those guys all those people under a woman's supervision. She'll say, over there, Alonzo, sweep. You know, no, like, hey, Alonzo, could you sweep up the floor, please? Because that's what a guy will do. But because she's got so many things going on in her world, she doesn't have time to lollygag around with that. Hey, Alonzo, double guns at you, bro. We still on for Friday? That's not a woman.
Right.
Yeah, I've never met a woman that was ever, hey, Arlo, how you doing, bro?
I'm like that. I'm Pelly. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I grew up around brothers though, so I sometimes think my thoughts on things would probably be like a male.
I was just talking about leadership because whenever you said when you talked about female thought, I think that the truest nature would be able to identify it in leadership.
Yeah, because like when I guess taking a leadership role and doing the buffalo butcherings, I'm not demanding. I don't demand or anything. I'm like, if you can help.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kind of leaving it open, for like an invite.
Right.
If you want to do it, you can do it. You know. That's why I try to make the atmosphere and the environment comfortable.
Well, that's where I come in too, because I'm like a liaison for that as well too. Because, in every situation, guys are going to come in all know-it-all, macho, and like, I'll do this better than you can. Don't worry, little lady. I'll do this for you, baby. They kind of do that.
Yeah.
I've noticed that about guys. So whenever we went to that last butchering we went to,
Yeah.
remember it was cold as hell and like, but that circle thing, like you left the circle to go to tend to either the dogs or the kids. You remember that part? Because I was talking about you, because whenever you left, they started talking about you, about like how you do things. And I went on to explain, this is her thing. It's not mine. She's been learning this. I'm basically one of her students, is what I would tell everybody. And when that stuff happens, it's like I guess the way I see it is like I'm sharing that point across as a understanding for the group, because this is not typically how meetings like this go through, because it's a woman leading this, and she is not gonna pull you aside and say, Julian, I need you to listen. It's done like this.
Yeah.
That's why you always hear me kind of clowning on the guys that come in all macho. You always hear me like trying to make fun of these guys or tease with them or whatever, because I'm trying to tear that down right there, because I want little boys. I want little boys with good intentions, and usually a little shot of humility is what brings those male egotistic attitudes down.
Yeah. How did we jump to the buffalo butcherings? Oh, that was me, huh? Because you were talking about like female versus male supervisors.
Well, I was just, like I said, a woman thought at its purest point should be able to identify it in leadership. I think. I don't know. Just to me, it sounds right. But the thing is that maybe it's not there. You identify pure woman thought. Because is the type of leadership that we go through, like all that stuff, is that already not diluted by woman? Woman thought leadership? That sounds really messed up, but that's not what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
I'm trying to say that, like, because a man and woman, and it's more by a power grab kind of thing, like leadership at its, like, do we still identify like a leader who wants peace? Do we even have those people anymore?
Sometimes when I think about people in leadership, it's all about controlling.
Yeah.
That's all I think of. It's like when somebody, rises to the top and they're up there, it's more about being the top dog, being in control, being above. I don't know. It's just me. I just don't get those. That's why I don't work a regular job, like a normal job, because of the way it's structured. Yeah. It just, yeah. So,
if you had to say that, what job you had in time, what would you say this is your favorite job?
Yeah, I don't see it as a job, but yeah, it's my favorite thing to do. I really enjoy it. It's because you talk about reflection, and I think about butchering, and I think about being there in the moment, and that is where I do my reflection, because I listen to people talk too, but I also, I don't know, it's like a survival technique that I kind of picked up, was getting to feel the energy, or watching people's nonverbal communication, and watching the body language and stuff like that, and just getting like the taste of the energy, right there in that moment. And it allows me to, doing the butchering allows me to kind of feel for that, I guess. Yeah. That's just like a survivor's tactic, I think. Where you want to go into a place and you're putting your feelers out there real quick, and you're like hypersensitive, because you don't want to put yourself in a position where you're going to have to run, or be afraid. Yeah. So whenever we do the buffalo butcherings, I usually use that sense that I have just to feel how everything's going at that time, And if it's like people, being afraid, then I would be able to sense that. Like, I don't want to do that, and then try to approach it in a way where they're comfortable,
Yeah.
So I do a lot of that.
I notice that. Yeah, I do too. I think that you do a good job of that. Keeping an eye on people in the community, making sure that everybody's taken care of.
I think that's why when I worked at the jail as a correctional officer, I didn't get any hassle because I was still able to be, I used to be able to be stern with them and them not take offense to it and, hate me, I guess. But to be able to do my job and not allow them to cross boundaries.
Yeah.
But they were okay with it.
Right.
That I wasn't going to allow them to have, anything special because they were being nice to me.
Right.
Like that. But not being in that position where I was a pushover, but I still had this ability to, I guess, relate to them.
Now, is that a woman trait or
sometimes
is that...
I wonder about that because I think that it is. I mean, but I know for sure it's like a survivor's trait. I think people who are, come from very traumatic backgrounds have that ability to sense things like that.
Right.
Yeah. And that's just a survival thing.
So it's not really a woman thing.
I don't know. I can't really say. I don't know if it's a male or female thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure. But who knows?
That's cool though. I mean, at least we can try and break down that rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. How you doing over there?
I'm doing all right.
Did you kind of go off that way when I was talking? Because I seen your eyes kind of went blank for a minute.
Right. No, I was paying attention. Yeah, I mean, to me, it just sounds like that doesn't sound like a woman's trait, or a woman's thought.
No, it's a survivor.
But then I thought about women have always been smaller than men, so is that a natural thought that a woman would have anyway?
That's interesting.
So throughout time, that was
Maybe.
So throughout time, a woman has always been smaller than a man. So, part of working with man is to be a little afraid of him, which is awful to say.
Yeah. Who knows? It could be.
I don't know, but I mean, you are so. Like I've thought about like leaders and the different type of leading, and yeah, like I can identify like your style of working with people in group events. Mm-hmm. You're part organizer and then you're also part like facilitator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. How did we get to that conversation?
A long ways away. We're in a big giant circle.
Big giant circle.
Yep.
So I was I was doing research on like the buffalo from Yellowstone and stuff.
Uh-huh.
And back in 1995 or 96, a guy named Joe Chasinghorse, I think that's Nathan Chasinghorse's dad. Mm-hmm. They arranged a 500-mile walk through the route that they said buffalo would take. I think it's from here up to Montana or something like that. Did you hear about that?
No, I never heard that.
Let me see if I can look it up real quick. But I was just looking at, articles. And it was, I can't remember the name of the group right now. 500-mile walk.
Man, imagine an animal that was 50 million strong, just like hanging out in the plains. That's a massive force.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Okay, so it is, let's see. Okay, so it was Joseph Chasinghorse. And it was He remains instrumental concerning the cultural preservation and renaming of the Native American. Okay, in 1999, Mr. Chasinghurst led many nations on a 500-mile spiritual walk from the Black Hills to Yellowstone, culminating in the protection of the last remaining free-roaming bison herd in Yellowstone Park. Did you hear about that?
No, I never heard that.
This is actually on NASA's website.
What?
Yeah. So I know NASA did, I think it was the Lakota Star Knowledge with, the Lakota. So they wanted to kind of combine what they had and combine it with like the Lakota Star Knowledge.
Yeah.
Have you heard about that?
No, I haven't.
Okay. Let me see if I can pull that up too. So anyway, I was thinking, was that walk documented? And if you didn't hear about it, I wonder who was a part of it.
I gotta be honest. Why would buffalo roam that way?
I have no idea. I just ran across it. While I was
Yellowstone's deep in the mountains.
So why would they go to the mountains? Because I wonder why in it. Because whenever the buffalo are in Yellowstone in the mountains, whenever it gets colder, don't they go down to lower elevation to look for food, right?
Right. You're not going to find it high in the mountains.
No.
I don't know.
So anyway, I was curious. How did they come up with that route?
Right.
Like, this is the route that they took whenever they migrated. How did they come up with that?
Yeah. That's a good question.
You don't know? I'm just kidding. I'm asking you questions.
Whenever I think about if we go back to our people in the day, and you think about how harsh winters were in the plains, do you think they hung out in the plains or did they come to the hills?
That's a great question.
I feel like they came to the hills.
Why do you feel like they went to the hills?
Because there are places all in the outskirts of the Black Hills that have cultural significance. And I think it's because that's where we went for the winter. But yeah, that's what I think. Is that because you think about all these areas that have like Buffalo Gap, Rapid, Mini Luzaha. There's names. They came here and they had specific names, these gaps. Mm-hmm. A lot of the names that follow, today's names are still names that were given to them from a long time ago. Mm-hmm. And you think about those names, like they had the reason why they had names was because is that they were special. They had purpose. Yeah. Because if you go out to, I don't know, Shkokpa, if you go to there, because there are a lot of places like it, does it have a significant name like that? Yeah. I don't think so. I mean, I just noticed that, like Buffalo Gap. Why was that particular point called Buffalo Gap? Yeah, remember Tina was saying that that's where they would migrate. Whoa, that was close. Oh, he went backwards like this. Yeah. He caught himself and went back forward. He would have bonked his head good. Oh man. Anyway, he caught himself. So Buffalo Gap was used as that route. That was one of the routes that the buffalo would take, I guess. Right. So. And it feels like a gate. It feels like when you go down through Buffalo Gap, you feel like it's a welcome way or something like that. You drive through it, it's like a welcome way. Mm-hmm. And then it leads right into some like prime area. You got blocking from this side, blocking from all around you, wind block. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm really curious about that. I would like to know more about that. Yeah. Like, how did they figure out that route? Yeah, and them migrating. Why they migrated in certain areas, when they migrated, things like that. Yeah. That would be interesting to come up with like a map saying this is where they would migrate. Right. And then have proof like fossils or something like, like finding
multiple bones in one area, saying,
Yeah.
okay, this is probably where they walked, and these ones were probably sickly, or this
Yeah.
one got taken out by something, or, you know, that would be cool. I wonder
Yeah.
if that's even possible.
Well, I mean, what's that buffalo jump called just north of the hills?
Oh, yeah, near on the other side of Spearfish.
Yeah. I've never been there, but I mean, that place has significance.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
and, you know, bones don't, I mean, how long does it take for a bone to become petrified and all that stuff?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah. We would need to delve deeper into science.
Like what if we found, like, you know, because this has never been found. Like, we haven't found like a medicine wheel.
Yeah.
There's not like a medicine wheel found in an artifact 6,000 years old. There was never that. So, what would we find out? Like, what if we found out the medicine wheel was like something the crow had, and we just took it and we made it ours?
Oh, like how they say the dream catcher
Yeah,
is from a different tribe,
I know.
and somebody took it or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I believe that one though.
You believe that one? The dream catcher one or the medicine wheel
the
one?
dream catcher wheel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that don't belong to.
I think
Lakota.
no, I think it belongs to some other tribe, and they just kind of.
But they put it on us.
Yeah, isn't that interesting? How a lot of stuff,
Yeah.
like a lot of Hollywood, it's Lakota.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks, Kevin Costner.
Thanks a lot, Kevin Costner.
Thank you.
Jerk. Freaking.
Jerkies.
What's his name too? Little big man, Dustin Hoffman. I know you're watching this.
Oh shoot. Well, you want to wrap it then?
Yeah, we can wrap it.
Yeah. Let's try to do this again.
Okay. Break.